Hey, everybody, welcome to the Going Ballistic podcast. You have Jason and Ryan Kleckner here, and we have no idea how long it's been since our last podcast. It's been since last year. I've either been sick, Jason's been busy, I've been busy, and we apologize, but we're back. Hey, Jason, how you doing, man?
Good, man. Sorry I wasn't able to see it shot. It looked amazing from all the pictures and
Uh,
guns and testing, and it looked awesome.
and we missed you, man. You'll have to come next year, or maybe come to the NRA show. We mentioned that going down on in Houston. I'll be down there. It'd be nice to have you to walk around and see what's going on there, too.
Oh, yes, I would love to. Would love
So
to.
yeah, the media day at the range, that was my first time going because normally on media day where they invite everyone out to try and test all the new products is when all the ATF meetings are and all the compliance training and things like that. So I'm usually giving a presentation on something exciting as export controls to FFLs, or I'm meeting with the ATF, and I'm like, you know what? No, this time I'm actually going to go have fun. And so I skipped it, which was funny because with the government shutdown, the ATF couldn't even come. So all the ATF meetings were canceled anyway. So I made out. It was really, really cool to be able to be out there. Yeah, dude. So media day, NSSF puts on that range day, but there are a bunch of other media days that companies do too, just because they want to, make the most of being there. And so the NSSF event was huge. Show up, got to go right over to like the coffee stand. They gave you like a little free voucher for free coffee. And Yeti actually was giving away awesome mugs. Ooh, I have one here. Let me see if I can get it without messing the microphone up too much. So Yeti gave these away. It was awesome.
Nice.
Like, sweet. Score for SHOT Show. So I got like this nice Yeti mug with my coffee, and then got to walk around and start shooting guns. So I walked all the way to one end. I linked up with the Firearms Radio Network crew. They were there. So I got to meet some of those people finally in person and just got to shoot an awful lot of guns. Is there anything particular that you would have wanted to try there, Jason, or you had
Yeah,
questions about?
I'm actually interested in that Ruger PC9, especially with the Glock mag thing. I would have loved to have shot one of those and see if it's really as cool and exciting as it
Yeah,
looks.
it is. You want one. It really is. So Ruger was kind of in the middle. So I started all the way down to one end. I'll definitely tell you about that one because that's a win. There's a couple of winners that I'm definitely going to be buying for myself. And I went down to the end. They had these what used to be the Strike One by Arsenal, and I can't even think of the new company's name right now. It was cool. I mean, it was novel. It was really low bore access, kind of cool gun, but it just, although it was accurate, although it was very flat shooting, it just didn't feel finished yet to me. So sorry if there's any fans out there for it. Just the trigger, the way it kind of broke and the reset and the way the gun felt, it just seemed like a prototype. That's the best way I can say it. Is a neat gun. If you want one, I'm sure you'll be happy with it because it cycled fine for me and it was actually very accurate and, like I said, low recoiling, but not enough to have me convert over to it yet. It was neat to check it out. And then just worked my way down the line. I mean, it was just range after range after range all the way down of everyone shooting stuff. And made it down through some trigger companies and some rifles. And again, stuff was kind of like, oh, cool. That was neat to see stuff. And then I got to the Ruger booth. And I was like, all right, here we go. Let's go play with some stuff. Because Ruger, man, they're killing it. Maybe you guys knew about them always. And I've always known Ruger was a good company, but they've come out with so many new products lately. They're really killing it. And I walked straight to the Ruger PC9. I'm like, all right, let me check it out, guys. And they didn't have the Glock mags in there. They had the conversion set up for the Ruger mags, which kind of makes sense. It's the Ruger booth, right? Or the Ruger area.
Right.
So they gave me a magazine and I kind of checking it out. I love that they did iron sights on it. I love that it's the traditional rifle stock. And I know a lot of people are complaining about that, but I kind of like that. I mean, everything's a little too AR nowadays. So it's kind of neat to have something that was more like a standard rifle. And I didn't realize how fast the bolt was until someone noticed the video later, made a comment on it. They're right. You can't even see the bolt moving in the video. I think only on one shot can you see the bolt moving. It's incredibly fast, which is kind of part of the problem with the direct blowback gun, right? So it's just recoil operated. So it's just the recoil of the round that makes the bolt blow back, kind of like a 22 long rifle.
Right.
And I mean, the downside to that is they can't have reliability issues because the bolt can move so quick because it blows back right away. And you can also have accuracy issues sometimes because it blows back so fast, you don't get a nice consistent platform from bullet to bullet. As the bullet goes down the barrel and gets ready to launch out. I kind of equate it to like jumping off of a trampoline. There's not much of a good platform for it to jump off of because it doesn't lock. Now they do have an inertia weight inside of the bolt. They call it like a dead blow weight or something like that. It's supposed to help keep the bolt closed or give it a little bit of a retardation in the movement. But that bolt was screaming fast, but it was fun. I mean, the iron sights, we were sitting there. They had 50 and 100-yard steel silhouette targets. And with 9 mil, it was just plink, 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 plink. It was really, really fun. And they had the charging handle on the right side for the sample gun. I'd probably move it around. It moves to the left side just so it makes a little more sense to operate the gun with your left hand. But yeah, are you going to want one?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I want one just for when we're out messing around and strictly for the Glock mags because I always carry my Glock on my side. I already have extra mags for it. I mean, it just makes sense.
Right. I mean, if you're going to have a Glock anyway, why not have a truck gun that takes the same magazines as your handgun takes?
Now,
Makes a
I'm
lot of sense.
assuming that the mags are the standard 17 and 19 mags.
Yep. And so you can get the 33 round factory Glock magazines also, right? Because those are made for the Glock 18. It's a factory Glock magazine. I think you can still pick those up for about $30 or a little bit under on Brownells. And so you can get a 33 round magazine for 9 mil. So you keep a couple of those in the gun in your truck. Now you have magazines for both your handgun and the rifle back and forth, and a 26 magazine. So the short little mags
Right.
fit in there and cycle just fine. So any of the 9 mil, now not the 43, not the skinny Glock 43, but any of the double stack 9 mil magazine, yeah, they work. Now I think they're going to come out with caliber conversions. One, they're being a little coy when they're talking about it anyway. But the other is it just makes sense because the barrel comes down. You pull that little lever, twist it in half, and the thing breaks in half. It's the takedown model. So to me, that just is like begging to have a different caliber, right? Because it's so easy to change the barrel. I wouldn't even be surprised if they do another integral suppressed barrel like they did for their 22. They have a takedown, suppressed 22 barrel. Why not have one for 9 mil? It just makes a lot of sense. And the weight in the bolt, that inertia weight I was talking about, had a number on it. So that makes me think that maybe they're going to have different weights for different calibers. So you can have them numbered and go back and forth. But man, there's a little ghost ring rear sight on the barrel. Super accurate, super, super fun to shoot. That's going to be a winner. I shot their Security 9, which is their new handgun that they came out with. Not really impressed. I think it's good for the price point. So if that's within your budget, it's going to be a fine gun. It cycled fine. It was okay to shoot. Again, not anything I would want to jump to or be super excited about. But then me and one of the other guys there, we made it down to the end of the Ruger booth, and they had some of the revolvers. And so we were goofing around at 100 with the revolvers. And I was taking the little LCR, this little half polymer revolver, with the 9mm moon clips. And that was a lot of fun. So you're able to throw in a moon clip with the 9mm rounds on it and taking shots at it. And that little sucker was accurate and fun to shoot. I mean, we would dance, left at 100, right at 100, then you'd hit, maybe hit again, and then a couple more misses, then hit again. It was a really cute little gun. And that one, honestly, if I didn't already have a couple J-frames, I'd be really tempted to get that one because a 9mm revolver outperforms a 38. Even though the 38 cartridge is bigger, the 9mm is just a modern cartridge. So a lot of people don't know that the 38 was originally, I believe, designed for black powder. So by the time we came around with smokeless powder, they kept the same cartridge size, but you didn't need all that size anymore, all that space in the case. So the performance isn't as much as a modern cartridge of the same sizes. So especially out of the short barrel. So having a little short cylinder with a 9mm, again, having 9mm ammo that you already have, on the moon clips is actually kind of handy. So that was a cool little gun too.
Nice.
Yeah, it was fun. A lot of guys already, some people jumping in the comments here, they say 10mm would be great. Yeah, it'd be cool novelty, but I'm just concerned the bolt already blows back so fast on 9mm. I don't know how they're going to handle it with a more powerful cartridge. I think maybe a 45 you could do it because it's such a slow, it's a heavy bullet, but it's slow. I just think 10mm might just blow the bolt back while the bullet's still trying to make it down the barrel. But I'm not a firearm engineer, so maybe they figured out a way to do it. But either way, that was a cool gun. Another gun that was really awesome, I was so glad to get a chance to shoot, is the IWI Tavor in 7.62, so a 308 bullpup. So essentially, that bullpup I have behind me right there, but instead of being the 223 version, it's the 308 version, and that is awesome. Um, I know you guys like to pick on me for liking the bullpup rifle, but to have that compact of a battle rifle shooting as heavy and as hard of a round as a 308 is, in something that when it's in my right shoulder, I can still reach out with my right hand and touch the barrel. I mean, that tells you how short the gun is. It's, I'm guessing, I should do this measurement. I'm guessing it's about the same length as if you had an AR-10 with like an 8-inch barrel. So a short barreled AR-10 is about the same size, but you still have the full performance of a 16-inch barrel. Maybe it's 18-inch even. But either way, a full-length barrel for 308. That one's cool. It's got a punch to it, and it should because it's a bigger cartridge. But it was really really cool. Somebody chimed in a line. Given the choice of the 308 Tavor or the Barrett Rec 10, which would you choose? That's a great question. I don't
I
know,
know which
Kurt.
one I'd choose.
The Barrett Rec 10.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I don't know, Kurt. I guess if I could only have one, yeah, it'd probably be the Barrett Rec 10 also, only because I could get parts for it everywhere. You know, it's a much bigger gun though, Kurt. You know, the Rec 10 because it's a normal size AR-10. But and even though I love the Tavors, I'm a little more used to the controls on AR. Yeah, excuse me. And I know where the safety is a little better. You know, it's easier for the mags, and the Tavor again, it's cool. I just don't think it's going to be conducive to shooting long range just because it's configuration. It's not going to be set up for that, where the Rec 10 is. So if I had an AR-10, I'd probably spend time with it hunting or trying to plink steel targets at distance. And I think the Barrett would be better for that. What do you think, Jason? You think the same thing?
Yeah. And for me, of course, I choose the Barrett because for what I like to do, I don't need a small compact gun like that. So for me, it's a no-brainer. I mean, if I was able to go out and shoot as as much as I wanted and could play around, sure, I'd love to have a bullpup. But no, for me, the Rec 10 is my next gun on my list.
Now, the Rec 10 was noticeably absent at SHOT, which is a bummer. It's supposed to be released at SHOT Show this year, and I have word from the Barrett boys that not to worry, it's still coming, but it's not quite right yet. So the ones I shot were just amazing, and they said that the production ones will be as good as the ones that I got to shoot. They're just trying to work out the last couple of kinks now. I don't know what that means or what the kinks are, but I got nervous too. I said, all right, guys, I already told everybody these are the best things ever. You know, what do we do now? And they said, oh, don't worry about it. The reason they're not here is because we're making sure that they really will be the best things ever. And, you know, I'm kind of glad they didn't do that. I mean, good for them. That had to suck to go to SHOT Show without the gun that you'd been teasing. That had to be a hard decision, but I applaud a company that makes that decision. I would rather get it right than put out something that's not. I mean, what do you think?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's the issue with a lot of things that are going on. I mean, like we've talked about before, I mean, SIG's kind of in that boat right now. So
tell me about SIG. What do you mean?
just the stuff I've been reading online with and we talked a long time ago about when Glock and SIG were both trying to get the government contract, and SIG, of course, has it. But all I'm reading is that the government's not happy and they're having a lot of issues with them. And I like SIGs. I love SIGs.
Yeah, so I'm slowly coming around to the 320. I've been playing with one a bunch, and I've publicly said a bunch of times I'm a Glock guy. I mean, I love the simplicity. I love how they work. But you've seen some of the videos and some of the abuse I put my 320 through, and it's working just fine. I'm actually getting used to the bore height now, and it's more accurate. I'm honestly more accurate with the 320 than I am with the Glock now. I don't know if that's the trigger or just the gun or whatever it is. But yeah, I saw those articles come out, and I'm not quite sure that they're interpreting the results right. I think the problems happened. I'm not saying anyone made anything up. I just think that was probably from the testing. I don't think that's from the Army now. I think that was during the testing process, because I remember hearing problems that they had and had to fix it. But it's not good. I mean, it is definitely not good news for SIG, it's a bummer. It's a bummer for the Army too. I want them to have guns that work, and maybe it makes Glock think, they should have won even more, if these problems are there. But from what all I know, they've got it all fixed. but then again, these reports come out, so we'll have to see what happens. Now, what was good about SIG at the show was I couldn't find SIG at the media day. So I actually had to text somebody at SIG and be like, where are you guys at? I wanted to come see that new 365. They ran their own media day, completely own separate day. So I had to rush and finish up with the NSSF day like early afternoon, catch one of the shuttles on the way back. I ran from one hotel to the next and hopped on a SIG bus, and the bus was for me. They had because I had texted for a couple hours, there was seriously an entire charter bus with like the Sig Sauer logo on it. And I jump up in it and I'm like, am I too late? You guys gonna go? And they're like, no, man, we're ready to go. Let's go. And the bus was completely empty. Because I guess they're getting ready to pick up people. Like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, let's go. So I got on the bus and fell asleep for 45 minutes. They drove me out the other direction from Vegas 45 minutes. And that was kind of cool. I got off the bus and there was a couple SIG people waiting there and like, hey, Mr. Kleckner, how you doing? It made me feel like a star for a little bit. And I had like 30 minutes till their range day was shut down. And man, despite the problems that it seems like they're having with the 320 here, they are taking over the firearms industry, Jason. I had no idea how big SIG was till the SHOT Show. I mean it. I mean, to have their own range day, to show up and see like 20 people in like these like sharp red jackets that were all their instructors from the training academy that were like the range safety officers, and then like 50 other people in like these like black jackets, and just everybody was dressed sharp. Everyone was like clean cut. It was kind of creepy when you showed up. Like, oh my gosh, this is pretty amazing. They had catering tents set up. It was insane how organized and how beautiful it was. And it just said a lot to where all the other companies were out there like with a pop-up tent and a booth. And this place has a whole facility done. So I just went from one end to the next. They had these like giant banners and posters telling you which gun was each station. So it's easy to see. And I just would jump right up and I'm like, hey, what's this? Oh, cool. The Rattler? Cool. They just shoved magazines in my hand. I would just sit there and play with whatever guns. I just ran up and down. And I went to that little 365 first. And although the 320 is still growing on me, the 365 won me over like right there. That thing's amazing. And I like the Glock 43, but one of my complaints is a little too small to functionally use. And what do you think about the 43, Jason?
I like it. I mean, it's the gun I carry when I'm out hiking because it's so small and doesn't get in the way of my backpack and stuff. So I really love it for that. The biggest downside I have for that purpose, of course, is it holds 6 rounds. That's the one interesting thing I like about the SIG is, and of course I'm dying to ask you,
double
where do they
that,
cram?
man.
Yeah, where do they cram 10 rounds in that little thing?
They're doing some voodoo stuff, man. I don't get it.
They had a cool article online that I looked it up after I saw your video, and they actually traced in different colored ink, the 43, the LCP, and a whole bunch of different other ones, and it is dramatically smaller. I mean, it's quite a bit smaller than the rest of them.
I think it's a little bit thicker than a 43. Not much, though. I mean, you'd have to measure it to see if it was thicker. So, yeah, I pick it up. I'm like, all right, little gun. And the pictures don't do it justice. The pictures I've seen made the slide look really tall. It made it look like the standard, kind of high bore height SIG, but it's not. If you actually put the rear sights next to each other on a Glock 43, the beaver tail where your hand goes is the exact same height. So the sights are the exact same height above where your hand. It's actually pretty amazing. So I pick it up, line up on the target. You see the video of my first shots. That video is the first shots I ever made out of the gun. I pick it up, and I don't know where the steel was, but you can see the steel is not even in the video, so it's probably 25 yards or further. Right. You just pick it up and ting, 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 ting. Like, oh my God. And you shoot back and forth. And the 43 to me, although I like it, it's a little too small to comfortably hold and shoot. You know what I'm saying? It's just a little, I would never use it as a gun like to really want to shoot steel targets and practice with. It's kind of just what you have because it's convenient to carry. That little 365, you could competently shoot target, move to the new one, target, move to the new one. It was pretty impressive. And then I take the magazine out, and then they hand me the 12 rounder, which extends down to kind of to your pinky. And you put 12 plus 1 in there and just shoot and shoot and shoot. And I told the lady right there, I'm like, okay, this thing's awesome. And that means for like not a gun for me to try out and play with to like get used to. Without a doubt, that thing's gonna be my new carry gun. From a Glock guy, because the trigger's so nice. I don't know. I like Glock triggers. I'm okay with them, but it's just not the Glock trigger. It's an actual, I don't know. Feels more like a full handgun. Now, what they're doing with the magazines is it's kind of a double stack and kind of a single stack. So it's double stack at the bottom and it's single stack towards the top. So it kind of like is a hybrid from a double to a single stack. It's really interesting.
Huh.
Yeah, Kurt said I really liked how it felt just holding it. Wish you could have shot. Yeah, it feels great. All the people at SHOT Show are picking it up and just dry firing it, and everyone would say the same thing. They're like, "Oh my god, this thing's awesome! This is the best like actual shootable little gun there is." So they're gonna kill it with that one. The Fish says he has a problem with them not taking responsibility for 320. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. That's not helping Sig right now. But I'll tell you, the one I have is great. But then again, that's the one I have. I know a lot of people are happy with them, but that 320 has had enough hiccups that it's really been a bummer for Sig, especially because that's such a cool gun for other aspects. So that's such a cool thing to do. So we'll see how that goes. Steven asked me about the Tango 4s. Even though I like what Sig's doing a lot of stuff, the optics haven't won me over yet. I haven't had any chance to really play with them, except like maybe out there at the media day and a couple other times. But just each time I've looked through them or kind of used them, I've just been kind of, I'm not sure if they're there yet. I don't know. So I'll have to try one out for sure and really test it for you guys. But I'm not, jumping over to any of those any time soon. Andrew asked, any new optics that were tempting? No. I went and ran over and saw the Night Force 1-8s that they had because everyone was crazy about those. I don't see what those get me over a Vortex Razor. I still think the Vortex Razor is the way to go as far as a high-end or premium optic is. So nothing really jumped at me. I did go see the Tangent Theta scopes. I'm not sure if you're familiar with those. I think they start like at $5,000. Ooh. They're like they essentially shoot the gun for you. They better do other things for you too. Yeah. It's a novel scope. I mean, it's really cool. Glass was clear, looked neat. The way you zeroed it or adjusted the turrets was really novel. I just don't know why I would want one of those yet. I know a guy I really respect in shooting has them, and he loves them. He says they're the greatest thing going. I just don't know if that's really needed for anything else. I take that back about the optics. I do take that back. Leupold has really done a great thing with their Mark V. So Leupold came out with a new scope called the Mark V, and it's like they got rid of the Mark IV for the consumer market, and I think this is its replacement. It's the closest I've seen to a Vortex Razor, but it's still not there yet. I mean, they put the bigger turret caps on there. They got the bigger, tube. They got the bigger ocular housing, so it's like a bigger image to see through it, and it's a similar reticle, and it's got a lot of neat features, but it's like 95% there for the Razor. Now, the good thing it has is it's a lot lighter, so it's not the boat anchor the Vortex is, but my understanding is the newest version of the Vortexes are like 60% the weight. So I take that back. There is a cool optic out there. The Leupold Mark V really, really is a slick optic, and I would have no problem shooting one of those. I'm just saying if I had to pick one or the other.
Yeah, so. I've not played with a Vortex Razor. I mean, the only ones I have is, of course, the HSTs is what I've been playing with. But like I said, I've shot Leupold scopes, not the super high-end ones, but I really like the Vortex scopes. I like them a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Plus the warranty. How do you beat the warranty on those things?
Yeah, you can't beat it. So they're now the biggest optics company. They're bigger than everybody else, and I think they're like 25 employees or 30 employees.
Oh, really? That's it?
Yep. And because they import a lot of the stuff. The high-end stuff they're making here, now, but most of the lower-end stuff that have been made other places. Wow, I'm tired. I'm doing too much, man. Jason, I'm back to burnout mode. You know what I'm thinking about doing? I'm thinking about doing a social media detox. Like I'll still do podcasts, but I'm thinking about for at least a couple weeks, just turning off of Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, and just not even turning it on for at least 2 weeks.
Do you think you could handle that?
I hope everyone listening can handle that, because everyone asks me questions. That's part of the problem is I spend all day answering what's scope, what's this. And I love it. I love that you guys are answering. I love that we have a community here, but I can't get anything else done. And before you know it, I'll get lost in Facebook, and it's not goofing around. It's, oh, this person said this, and what's going on over here, and all this scope here, and this, that, So, maybe I might do that. So sorry if I do that, guys. I'll make an announcement. So at least people understand where I went. But if I don't respond to you at all for a couple weeks, maybe that'll be good. Yeah, maybe done. So CZ should have come out with a compact P10C. Did I hear anything? No. Gun toting Minnesotan. Thanks for joining. No, man. The C in P10C is compact though. So I think what you mean is like a subcompact, like a smaller one. It'd be neat to see, but I still love the P10C. If I had to start over, I might go with one of those instead of Glocks. But I'm just so invested in Glocks. That's what I do. So anyway, what else was out there that I saw that I had to have? Oh, I saw the Franklin Armory Reformation. That thing was the biggest disappointment of SHOT Show. That was embarrassing for them. So I walk up media day at the range, and first off, they're hard to find. They're supposed to be there. We're walking down all the booths, and we couldn't find them. We got to the end, and we had to walk back and go, where in the heck were they? And out of all these banners and all this fanfare and all this stuff, there's like this one little sign on their tent, like hidden between other people. They do all this marketing, and everyone's got to come see them. And they had like a big one of those tall, banners that everyone has now, has like a curve to the top, and like the ribbon kind of hangs down.
Yep.
And in big red letters, it says like BFS3, and it had a picture of a bullet. And at the very top, in little, it said Franklin Armory. I'm like, come on, guys, we couldn't find the place. So we went to go check it out and figure out whether they did it with a unique trigger, whether they did it with a flat or straight rifling barrel, or whether they did it with a buttstock something special, how they got around it not being NFA. And they're like, oh, we won't tell anybody. We won't tell anybody. But I'd already heard from other people, and even from unofficially from the ATF, that it was straight rifling. So I go up to the guy, I'm like, so rumors are that it might be straight rifling, huh? And they're like, oh yeah, we don't know, this and that. And so I turn and I look up at that banner. Remember I said it said BFS3 and had a picture of a bullet? Well, I take a picture of the bullet with my phone, and I look at the guy and I say, you do realize that you have a picture of a bullet with straight rifling marks on it on your flyer, right? Or on your banner? And the marketing guy that was being all coy is like, what do you mean? And he looked up there, and sure enough, you could see like the straight rifling grooves in the bullet. So they have like a picture of like what the Reformation is of the straight rifling. And I don't know if they just missed it or forgot it or put it up too soon. So you might want to take that banner down until you announce it, because they weren't going to announce it until the next morning. So I actually started talking to the guy. And even though when I first showed up, it was funny. When I first showed up, I finally got the feeling of being the pariah a little bit, because you could see people looking over like, oh, there he is right there. Yeah, that's him. Yeah, that's him. So someone else would come over from Franklin Armory and like, yeah, that guy. They're like nodding towards me, and they're like looking at me with my phone like, that's the guy that's been talking about us doing stuff. So I walked over. So when I saw that, I'm like, I'm not going to avoid that. I'm just going to walk right up. Hi, I'm Ryan Kleckner. How are you guys doing? Who are you? And just start talking to him. And I ended up liking the guy enough, but just talking to him and seeing what he's going through. I said, all right, despite you putting the bullet picture up there, you guys are going to wait to announce it at 8 tomorrow. I said, I'll do you a solid, just trying to be a good dude. I won't say anything about it till 8 a.m. tomorrow. And so he really appreciated that. So I told everyone on Facebook, sorry, I've confirmed what it is, but I'm respecting their wishes for the night. So 8 a.m. tomorrow, they let it out. It's a freaking musket, Jason. There's no rifling. I mean, it's just straight grooves, right? So it's straight freaking grooves, and you can't hit a 50-yard target because the bullet is tumbling the second it comes out of the barrel. I mean, the second that comes out of the barrel, the ass end of the bullet wants to go forward. That's the heaviest side of the bullet, right?
Right.
So it wants to just flip around. So as soon as it comes out, it's like trying to flip around and just going down the range. And they're like, oh no, people are hitting 100 yards with it. Like, I'm sure they are. They're not hitting the target, but I bet the bullet's going 100 yards. They said, no, some guys hit the target. I'm like, well, okay. Maybe you aim at the target, and one out of every so often will actually smack the target. Maybe that's true. But yeah, they went backwards, I don't know how many 100 years in firearm technology, by making a 223 musket, because the bullet won't spin as it flies down range. So then it got such a bad rap from everybody of like, what the hell is this? Why would first off, just put a pistol brace on the thing and it's a pistol, right? And I think it's a few $1,000s to get this from them. So everybody else, so I called it on the Trigger Words podcast. I said it might be like a barrel that's like a churro, the straight grooves. Maybe the bullets will come out looking like little churros. And so that was like a week or two before SHOT Show. I finally officially named something. Like I've never coined a term or like a meme before. And at SHOT Show, there were memes aplenty of like little animated gifs of the gun shooting churros out the front of it, or like a bowl full of like churro bites saying, "Hey, look, a bowl of ammunition for the Reformation." I mean, yeah, the churro thing was going on pretty crazy, and I've heard a couple people went to the booth at SHOT and asked them, "Hey, is that the churro rifle?" And the reports back, or they were visibly upset that people were calling it the churro rifle. So I do feel kind of bad about that, but at the same time, proud because I've never got to do anything like that before. So now I finally made something, made a name for something. Then they were, because people were complaining so much about why would you do this when you could just get any other AR-15 and again put the pistol stock on it or put the pistol brace, and now you actually have something that can hit targets and it's way cheaper and it's still not NFA. Like, what's the big deal here? You know, why do you need to do all this to get around it being a short barrel rifle? So they came out with football with fin project, you know, little Nerf footballs that had the fins on. I remember one time up in like Chino Valley, like your dad's property, your brother hucking one of those further than a human being should be able to throw one of those. Do you remember that?
Oh, absolutely, man. He could sail that thing.
Yeah. So for those of you that we tell you the Kleckner family, yeah, Jared's one of the bigger boys, and that guy was taking those little Nerf footballs and just throwing them, and they would just take off into the atmosphere. You're like, how in the world does he do that? So that thing, remember that football now?
Yep, I know.
That's what the bullets were. So the
Really?
bullets were, no, they weren't Nerf, but they were that shape. So there's little tiny bullets, and they had to make them like on 30 cal. So it was like this little bullet, and then like a tail and fins, all made out of like copper. And they're like, well, the accuracy issues aren't a problem because check these out. And I was like, what is that? I'm like, well, if you buy these and you load these into your cartridges and you shoot these bullets, they can hit at 100 yards. Okay. I applaud them for trying to think outside the box. But man, it just seemed like it went in a full circle what they were trying to do, like this revolutionary thing, and then just to get back to it. So,
man, that's too bad.
Yeah. So Gary Larson says that I should come up with a Kleckner nitrogen churro and 224 Valkyrie. This is a family podcast, Gary. So I'll just say laugh out loud. What are you going to say, Jason?
I was going to say, I was skimming through one day and I didn't get to go back to it. And I thought it was SIG, but it may not have been SIG. But I saw basically something that you stick a pistol inside of and turn it into what looks like a little tiny short barrel rifle.
Yeah, so there's been companies that have done those for a while. Yep. You have like the Roni, they do that. There's a German one for a while too. For about the past 10 or honestly 15 years, people have been trying to do those. It's like a housing that snaps onto the handgun. And sometimes they have a way that you can, like, a little piece will clamp onto the slide so you can use it as like the charging handle. So it turns into a short barreled rifle. Yeah, maybe. I've never seen the need for them, but it's kind of a neat concept. I've often wondered why people don't take the Glock mechanism, because it's such a simple, proven mechanism, and just build a rifle around it. I think that'd be kind of cool. If someone just built, a pistol grip receiver with a Glock style trigger in it, so kind of like a short AR receiver that actually took the Glock barrel, but it had the buttstock built into it. I think that might be a better one. Gary Larson asked, isn't Rochelle Hathaway sponsored by the churro rifle now? Yes, Gary, that is actually true. She has a red, white, and green jersey with like giant cross churros on the back of it. Did you catch the Rochelle Hathaway thing, Jason?
I didn't get to read it. I saw the post on it, and I didn't get to hear what was actually said. So I'm not.
She essentially said she's one of the Terran Tactical girls, and she had said something to the effect of, in the magazine article, if the government banned all guns and took our guns away, I wouldn't even really be that mad. I don't know why everyone needs these guns. No person could possibly need more than 3 guns. You don't need all these guns, and you don't need semi-automatics. I mean, she's like, just look at SHOT Show. When they wrote the Second Amendment, they didn't have AK-47s in mind. And you see all these people around SHOT Show. It's kind of sad seeing where all the stuff they think they need. I read that. I was like, what? Whoa. So Sean Heron actually is the first one that broke it for me to see. So I gave him a hat tip when I posted it the night before, and then it just all blew up yesterday. and everyone had to call it out. And then Taryn finally came around and said, she's no longer with us. But it had been out there for like 4 or 5 days till they responded. But yeah, not a smart move, Rochelle. But these
No.
are these are so there's a group of girls that are called gun bunnies in the firearms industry. That not all girls in the firearms industry are gun bunnies. I'm not saying that, but there are some gun bunnies, and um, these girls are around 99% guys like at SHOT Show or in the industry. So they can get all the attention they want because they're the only girl. So they just wear tons of makeup, get their hair all done up, walk around in yoga pants and a gun. And I'm not saying that they're wrong for doing it, but it doesn't exactly help our industry. I mean, first off, it makes the guys look like a bunch of idiots. And then they look like idiots and they don't know how to shoot, or they come and say stuff like this at SHOT Show.
Right.
So
no, that's too bad. And she's right. When they wrote the Constitution, they didn't have AK-47s.
mm-hmm.
Go back earlier in that, they had swords. So technology kind of sets the precedence for.
Well, when they wrote about freedom of speech, they didn't have iPhones in mind either. So you're not
exactly. I mean, come on.
Right.
It's silly.
And when they wrote the Constitution, they didn't have the idea of women voting. So stop voting.
Yeah, right.
Like,
so
I mean, there's a lot of things they didn't have in mind. Doesn't mean we're going to throw it all out there. Yeah.
That's just silly. Yeah, the Constitution is written so clearly, and it was done that way for a reason. I mean, that's kind of where it's at.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So it's still good at SHOT. And the best thing about SHOT is I left early. So I got to go see everybody. And this is the first time I was able to leave early, because every other time I got to be there to see clients or stuff like that. And this time I saw a bunch of my bigger clients, but it was just good to say hi and see them, Wednesday I was already flying back, and I must have had 20 people texting, "Hey, we linking up tonight?" or "Hey, let's go do this," or "Hey, can you come by our booth?" And I felt kind of bad, but at the same time I didn't. It was fun to say, "Oh, sorry, already on the plane on the way home." So I got home before it was too much. I walked about 10 miles a day, according to my watch. Just walking up and down the show floor. So I'm speed walking in dress shoes, because I still at least have to dress nice on the show floor to meet people and stuff. And it was really fun. Really cool to see everybody. I went to go do a Ranger link up too. That was neat. We had a black and tan event, is what they call it, from the black and tan berets. So all the Rangers that were there went out and had a big shindig, and maybe drank a lot, and maybe had a good old time sharing stories. It was a good time.
That's awesome. Well, like I said, I really wish I could have been there. Sorry that I couldn't be, but there's always next time.
What are you doing for the Super Bowl?
Well, let's see. I'm working in Flagstaff on Saturday, and then Sunday, I'm probably just going to be home, finishing up some stuff here, and then getting ready for work on Monday.
Well, wait, I never asked you this. So does the NFL, with the NFL players not standing for the national anthem, bother you?
Absolutely, it bothers me.
So are you going to watch the Super Bowl?
Given with my schedule and stuff, if I do, it's for the commercials.
Really? All right. Well, the reason I brought it up is I was thinking about doing the opposite. So I don't know what you guys think about it, but I think it'd be fun to say, hey, we can hit the advertisers and the NFL in the pocketbook by just doing something like this during the Super Bowl. I haven't thought it out very well, so I shouldn't be bringing it up on a live broadcast. But I was like, what if we just had a come watch the Super Bowl with the Kleckner boys, or watch the Super Bowl with whoever, and then when people are watching the game, as soon as the commercials come on, they could flip their phone out, and then we could be literally laughing about the game, telling jokes, having a good time. And then, right, because right now the deal with social media and the deal with the way the internet works now is there are no barriers now to broadcast. Before, you would have to have a whole lot of money and a whole lot of time to get your voice and face out to everybody. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm like, the barrier is really low. Anybody can broadcast now. And maybe some people would like to have the chance to watch the Super Bowl. Maybe I can gather a few guys together from the industry, and maybe people would like to, quote unquote, watch the Super Bowl with this group of guys, right? As if you're over there at the house with them too. And you don't know when the broadcasts or the commercials are going to start, but all you can do is sit there with your phone in your hand. And as soon as the commercial starts, I could hit broadcast, and we could all just, talk about the game together, do stuff like that. And it would completely block out the commercials. And if you got the word out enough, which is too late now. Sorry, I shouldn't even bring up ideas like this. Maybe next year. But if you got the word out and enough people watched it, wouldn't that be a really good way to get the NFL's attention?
Oh, absolutely.
Like, we don't have to watch your commercials anymore. We're going to watch the game and then we're going to do our commercials. Heck, if I end up doing it, which I doubt I will because the Super Bowl's in like a day and a half, that would be a cool thing to do is just go get all veteran companies and just be like every commercial break. All right, this commercial break's brought to you by this veteran company and just do advertisements. Seriously, man,
Oh,
I
that'd
should
be
have
great.
planned this out.
You
That would
should
have
have.
worked, right?
Oh, I'd have done it in a second.
Well, and the media probably would have picked up on it because it would have been screw you to
Oh,
the
yeah.
NFL for people. Yeah, I'll try and figure out a way to maybe put it together. So somebody listening around here, if you do it, don't disclude me. Don't keep me out of it. I'd like to be part of it for the idea. But man, what an easy way to have you be able to hang out with the people you want to hang out with anyway,
Yeah.
for free. And you can talk about the game, you could talk about other stuff, and you could support veteran organizations. Yeah, man, maybe we need to do it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. That sounds awesome.
So I heard you got a 23andMe genetic testing
Oh, yes.
thing.
So at Christmas time, they had them half off. And I thought, what a fun thing to get for the family, right? 23andMe
Mm-hmm.
kits. So we ordered those things, spit in a little tube thingy and sent it off.
Mm-hmm.
So to back up a little bit, Hunter, my daughter, had gotten hers early and did hers early.
Okay.
So she would have had her results weeks and weeks before I would have ever gotten mine. And when you get online and start, signing up for your account and doing your stuff, if you want to check into like family stuff, there's a disclaimer that says, hey, glad you're interested in this, but be aware you might find out some things you don't want to know, or
Mm-hmm.
there might be a family connection that was never really there, or
Yeah.
kid may
Mm-hmm.
not be yours, anything like that. And I'm thinking, I'm not worried about any of that stuff. So send it all off, and on Tuesday morning, I get my little notice, hey, your results are in. So I'm getting ready for work, and I'm like, hey, this is cool. So I'm reading through it, and I'm like, yeah, I knew I was that, and this and that, and then it gets to the family part, and click and see who your kids are and who your family are. I'm like, awesome. Now, mind you, I'm expecting to click this and see, hey, your daughter Hunter is your daughter, and she's already done her kit, and you guys are connected.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I click on this thing and it says 0, and I'm like, that can't be right. Her stuff was done long before mine. So now
I'm
I
sorry
get
to
this.
laugh. Wait, does this end bad? Because I don't want to laugh if it ends bad.
No, it doesn't end bad.
Okay. All right. Good.
But I'm sitting there kind of going, oh, there must be a mistake. And then, there's no way she's not my kid. So then I get in the shower and it's kind of on my mind, and I'm like, God, man, what if for one weird freaky chance that it wasn't, because I used to tease her all the time. She wasn't my kid, just joking with her.
Mm-hmm.
But man, it's really starting to get to me now. So of course I get my truck, I'm headed to work, and I call her, and she can't talk, she's at work. I said, hey, when you get a chance, give me a ring. So finally we get to talk, and she goes, what's up? I go, well, I said, I'm curious. Did you get your 23andMe results back? And she goes, no, mine was messed up. They sent me another kit, so it's going to be a long time till I get mine done. So I start busting up. And I'm like, well, thank God for that, Hunter. So I told her the whole story. She's busting up. And of course, everybody I tell, they're like, there's no way that's not your kid. I said, no, I'm with you. I said, but I'm reading this stuff
Oh
going.
yeah. No one here doubts it.
So anyway,
Well,
what
there's
you
no
gonna
way
do?
she's not a Kleckner.
Yeah,
We,
for
we don't know
sure.
if she was yours. Yeah.
So yeah, so that was interesting. So
That's
that's
awesome,
my
man.
23andMe story for now.
That's funny. Gun Tote Minnesotan asked me if I could serve in any other military, which would I like to try? As in the country. Ugh, I wouldn't. Maybe Canadian. That'd probably be a good one. There's a lot of good dudes I meet from Canada. They have a lot of good snipers up there. Um, I think the environment would be good. What about you, Jason? Would you serve in another country's military?
When I was younger, man, I had this weird fascination with the French Foreign Legion, but I think it was just my age and where I was at the time.
Did I? Okay, did I tell the French Foreign Legion story on this podcast yet?
Yes, we talked about it
Oh,
early, not when we were live. This is back when we used to just record it and post it. So this would have been,
so it's still on a podcast though.
I
All right.
think
I'm
so.
glad I asked because I obviously repeat myself and I'm at least learning not to ask about it. There were some scary dudes in the French Foreign Legion. I always thought they were going to be some like little frail, like Nancy dudes. No, sir. There were some, yeah, guaranteed felons in the French Foreign Legion. Yeah.
Now, I think it was a French Foreign Legion. The one story you told is when you shot the BB gun and hit the ceiling
Okay.
up in
Let's
the
not
Alps.
remind people. Yeah. Yeah. That was me.
So,
Yeah.
okay. Is that the same story?
Yeah.
Okay. Then yes, you told the story.
And we had like the bench press competition and we won
Yes.
with the lightweights.
Yep.
We just put like 5 pounders on the bar and just did like
A
hundreds of them.
million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then added up to more. Yeah. It was funny.
Yeah. That was an
Um,
early day
there was some,
podcast.
they like showed up with a little marching band in their white outfits and like playing piccolo. You'd have like just like WWE wrestler looking dudes playing a piccolo, like walking in. You're like, oh my God. Like those are some serious dudes. They were all nice guys, but you could tell some were running away. Um, yeah. What do I think about the Mac versus NRA controversy? I think the NRA has lost its way, and I'm encouraging every single buddy that can vote in the NRA when they get their ballot to vote only for Timothy Knight and Adam Kraut and leave all the rest of the spots blank so we don't have their votes diluted. We just bullet vote for those two. Adam Kraut, I finally got to meet him in person at SHOT. We've emailed back and forth, and we're both firearms lawyers. We should have known each other by now. But great dude. Want to like do some podcasts with him and do whatever I can with him. Really, really happy with what he wants to do, and he's all about holding the NRA accountable. Like heaven forbid, he wants board members to show up to board meetings and actually do things. And then Marion Hammer, who has a great name in the NRA, and she's done a lot of great things for our gun rights, believe it or not. She's like a patron saint of the NRA, writes this article about how we have like the enemy from within and how we need to stop these outsiders from coming in that got elected by the ballot. The stupidest thing she could have written. This article is essentially saying you should only vote for board member candidates that the board has selected as appropriate. You should not vote for these commoner candidates that got on by getting enough petitions by the people because the people are stupid and don't know what the best is. She didn't say those words, but she called it the enemy within. Like we need to keep these people from coming in and taking over, the NRA and this and that, which all she did is hand the election to Adam Kraut because that like ignited the firearms industry to not only get rid of her, but to elect him. And so he handled his response just much classier than I may have. And I think I can be pretty political about that, but he did it great. And he just published her attendance records, and she hasn't been to a single meeting in like 5 years. So all her absentee for the board meeting, she doesn't even show up for the board. That's how not active it is. So that's what I think about the controversy. I hope that helps. Gun Tote Minnesotan asks, is Gun Owners of America worth it? Sure. All these organizations are worth it. They all do good things. I still caution everybody, your biggest risk for your gun rights is the state level. It's not the federal government. I mean, it can happen. Don't think that, that you're never going to have a federal government ban. But state laws can take away your gun rights way faster and with way less, protection from President Trump than anyone else.
Yep. So that's why I live in Arizona. I love it here.
You're changing, dude. You guys, I feel safer in Tennessee. You guys, well, illegal immigration is slowing down. Like, didn't it spike recently, the last couple of weeks? It's supposed to be slowing down. If Trump ever gets a hold of illegal immigration, maybe. But you're turning Democrat, dude. Democrats coming to Arizona if something doesn't change.
We'll see.
All the people from Canada, California moving there. That's where I remember. You know as well as I do that a novel fact about us was that we were from Arizona. Remember that? Or you probably still encounter it. People meet you like, where are you from? You're like, oh, from Arizona. Like, no way, you're from here? It's because
I get it all the time.
Yeah, all these Californians are moving in because they ruined their state, so they're going to come to Arizona. They start trying to implement their policies. All the Phoenix legislators all the government seems pretty liberal to me. I don't know, man. I'd be nervous.
We'll see.
Yeah,
I don't see anything
go ahead.
happening right away. And if it does, then I just have to
Massachusetts
move to
put out a
Tennessee.
notice. You do. Come on over, man. Massachusetts has put out a notice to turn in bump stocks or be prosecuted. Yep, that came out and said you have until this date. All bump stocks will be turned in, and we're putting you in jail. Um, Kurt, you can reach me through my website, man. Just go to any one of my websites, go to the contact form, send me an email. That's the best way for farms law questions. But be careful, Kurt. You get what you pay for. So free legal advice may not be very valuable. So cool, man. I'm so sorry it took so long. It's my fault the last couple times that we had to cancel or delay it. And I appreciate your patience, Jason. I appreciate everyone's patience who's listening. Anything else you want to talk about or ask about, Jason?
No, just hoping to get out and do some shooting. I'm gonna actually get to shoot my the last build, that Cerakote gun, this Saturday after I get done with that job up in Flagstaff. Like I told you, I'm getting rid of the El Cheapo. Gonna put that towards another gun. But I've cycled round after round, and after my hammer fix on that metal mag, I think we're good to go. So I'm excited to shoot that and see how it goes. Hopefully, no jams.
That's awesome, man. I actually got the first collector nitrogen rifle out to the customer a couple of weeks ago. I actually got it out before SHOT Show, and I don't know if you saw the groups I posted them. Those are the no joke groups, and that's factory ammo. I mean, Hornady Black, like $14 a box ammo, and just went to the range and I shot 5 groups on different paper to adjust to get it zeroed, and just I could have picked any one of them, and they were all great groups. And I sent it off and I emailed the guy. I'm like, I might not really want to sell this. I might want this one back. Because, I mean, you take inexpensive factory ammo and just shoot ragged holes, and people don't realize how small those groups are. One, I'm not a great group shooter. But 2, those are 1-inch squares. So if you look at the picture, you see how big the squares look. Those are an inch. They look huge on there. So I'm really excited that one went out, and I hope he's happy. He's already been posting some pictures of it, what he's doing with it. So I hope it works out for him.
That's awesome.
So, cool, man. I can't wait to start sending you stuff to get Cerakoted.
Yeah, and before we go, I was going to let everybody know I'm behind on my FFL stuff, but I finally got my LLC approved.
Okay.
That came in at the end of last week. So now I have to get my zoning stuff done, and then of course do the application for the FFL. But I know we started this process weeks and weeks and weeks ago, and that's how long it has taken for me to get my LLC. But I do have it, and moving forward, but slowly.
Well, good. Same with the ATF compliance course. I thought I was going to be done last week, and I thought I was going to be done this week. And then today I got yanked. I had a couple hour longer more business phone calls, and which are great to have. And you get pulled over here, and I got to teach tomorrow, and oh my God, it's just, so I thought I could get the last couple chapters of the ATF compliance course done. So soon, guys, those of you that are waiting, soon. And if you're anxious or you're getting impatient, I get it. If you want your money back, I'll happily give your money back from the pre-order, because the last thing I want to do is hold on to your money while I'm still putting the course together, even though you pre-ordered it. But just be careful, when it does come out, it's going to be a few $100s for the course, not the 20 you paid for it. So keep that in mind. You can stay at the pre-order or pre-order it now if you want, and then we'll do it later when it gets all done. So Jason, man, thanks again for joining us and just catching up and talking about guns. And I hope you get to go to the NRA show.
Oh, I'm going to do my damnedest to get there, man. Since I missed SHOT, I really want to go. Plus, it'd be cool to hang out with you. I've not seen you now in over a year.
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, it's been a while. All right, we'll get together, man, and I'll talk to everyone next week. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye, everybody.